join in on the fun and grab your glue gun. It's the Preppy Crafty Girl Show.
Hey everyone, it's Jonna, the Preppy Crafty Girl, and I am here today for another hashtag Trinket Tuesday. And I decided I was going to turn my camera on for this because I thought many of you may not know how you can use fabric on wooden beads. Who doesn't have a huge amount of these wooden beads? You can thrift these wooden beads. You can go to the craft store and buy the wooden beads. They also come on a long strand. You can find them at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, any kind of store will have like the banners made with these. You could, deconstruct, which I like to use those because then it's got a base color and it's finished and I don't have to do that myself. So we're going to take some of these beads, and what you're going to need is some fabric. So we're doing Little House on the Prairie journals. Angela, the traveling crafter, Carol Crinkle Path, and myself are doing the Prairie Girls Gathers in the month of October. I hope you join us and you can go ahead and start working on some of these for yourself. You could use any kind of lightweight cotton fabric is what you want, something that will absorb the matte varnish. And so I have these cute little bonnet girls that my friend Kelly gifted me. And then I also have the Little House on the Prairie fabric. So that's what I'm using. So I fussy cut out using the Tim Holtz tonic scissors. They're very sharp, very pointy, and easy for getting into all the little small places. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these little bonnet girls and I'm just going to fussy cut around her. So I like to cut her out of the background first. It's easier for me to work with. And then I'll just come in here and fussy cut around her like so. Very easy. And then I went ahead and fussy cut out the two parts of the logo. So they're going to go like this on the bead. So the first step is there's no prep to this bead because it already has a finish on it. So what I'm using here is some matte varnish. This is at Hobby Lobby. It's by Master's Touch. And that's just something that I prefer using for sealing these beads and using it with the fabric. So the first thing you're going to do is take your fabric. The other thing you want to note is if you're using, depending on the size of your bead, you could make really large ones and use them as ornaments on your tree. And you could you could paint on the little tiny ones if you want. It'd be kind of hard to probably decoupage on the little tinier ones. Wow, it's rolling. But you could use like the flower maybe, fussy cut out the little flower and put that, or the little bow, and put that on a smaller wooden bead if you have it. So what I'm doing here is I don't care if I get glue on my fingers. I know a lot of people do not like to do that. I just have this on a palette that paint's dry, so it's not going to affect the varnish at all. But anyway, you want to give a good saturation to the fabric. And then we're going to take it and just put it where you want it on the bead. I kind of center mine and then press it really good and down. The cool thing about the fabric is, and if it starts to fray, you just want to, pull the little frayed strings off. If they're really tiny frays, you can push them back up into the fabric because you are going to seal it. So you press that down, getting rid of any wrinkles, and then take another coat, and we're just going to go lightly, very lightly over the top and the edges. You don't want to pull it up with your brush. And you're going to seal all the edges in there. And then we're going to take the little bonnet girl and we're going to set the bead down. And then we're going to take the little bonnet girl and we're going to go ahead and so I hope you join us for our Prairie Girl Gathers. It's we're using any kind of prairie girl, sunbonnet baby, holly hobby. I'm doing Little House on the Prairie because I've been wanting to do my Little House on the Prairie journal for I don't even know how many years now, and I've had this stuff sitting around, and I just needed some friends to kick me in gear here, so, and give me deadlines and stuff like that. I do better with deadlines, to be honest. And also working with other people kind of motivates me, you know, to get stuff done. How about you? You guys easily motivated by other people and deadlines, or are you pretty good at working this on your own? So Trinket Tuesday, if you don't know, I've got a playlist. I've actually been adding other creators to the playlist so that you can see what they've got going on and what people collect. It's been so much fun seeing other people's little collections. And if you join in on Trinket Tuesday, you don't have to have if you have a collection and you display it in a cool way, or you put it out for holidays, you know, shoot a little video, tag me at the Preppy Crafty Girl, and use the hashtag Trinket Tuesday. I would love to see what you guys are up to, what you're collecting, how you display it, how you store it. And it could be anything from your childhood or anything you're collecting nowadays, or if you make a little trinket. I did last week little clay trinkets. So I did little clay charms, little clay pumpkins. That's up in the playlist also, in case you want to try doing some of that. Okay, so once this is dry, and it dries relatively quick on these wood beads, I'm going to set that one aside. It's still a little sticky. And what I'm using to paint on these are these little Uni Posca pens. And I'll have all the things that I've used. I'll give you an alternate to the matte varnish on my links below. They are affiliate links with Amazon. If you use Amazon, I would appreciate if you would use my links, because I'm trying to get qualified as an affiliate. I'm not qualified there. Anyway, I'm using the red, blue, and the yellow because it just kind of goes with my themes of my journal. And what I like to do is make my centers first. So I'm going to do blue on this one. And all I'm going to do is I've already pressed out. Thing about Poscas, once they're primed, they're pretty good about, and you do need to shake the Posca up. There you'll hear a mixing bead in there, but I go around and I just start out by putting little like polka dotty, which are going to be my flower centers. And I'm just doing them really tiny. And I'm just trying to make it look like the fabric kind of blends in on the bead. I'm just going around and making these really small, random little polka dots. So can you see that? There's just little dots on there. And then I'll set that aside and wait for that to dry. And then I'm going to go around and do the same thing. I'm about using it about 1/4 of an inch apart is what I find works really well for a pattern. It doesn't overwhelm too much. Now you don't want to put your pen on the matte varnish if it's wet, because around that fabric, because it will seal, it will seal your the end of your marker. And let's go over here. And I think that's pretty good and spread out. I've got this glue kind of stuck on my fingertips still. It's grabbing onto the... If you're not really great at using the markers or drawing anything, and if you seal your bead first, then do your markers, you'll be able to wipe it off with a wet wipe or a wet cloth. And then you definitely want to go back in and seal it. Okay, while it's wet anyway. Not seal it while it's wet, but you'll be able to take it off while the paint is wet. and then wait for it to dry and then go back in and paint what you want. So what I'm doing here is a simple little like ditzy flower, and all I'm doing is taking the tip of my marker, and I've already primed these, and I'm just doing 6 little dots or 5 little dots around. It makes this cute little sweet, like kind of ditzy flower or something you would see on Flour Sack. And I like to kind of offset it off that dot. It doesn't need to be in the center because you kind of want it to look like it's been screen printed on there. And I will go up, and even after my fabric's dry, I may even do 1 or 2 onto the fabric to incorporate the fabric print onto the bead. But I'm just very quickly going around and making dots. Little tiny dots around the circles, and if they overlap, that's okay, because you want it to look like it's been kind of, it's hand painted. It's not machine done. If you want perfection, then you're gonna have to get somebody to make you these on a machine. So, and there's that one, and then let's go around and do this one. These acrylic paint pens dry pretty relatively quick, as long as you don't have it like a blob of the paint on there, like you haven't hit it really hard. These will look so cute just sitting in a jar, even though I'm going to use them on my journals. They would look really cute in a jar. That's the hard thing, right? Especially like if you do covered buttons, you just want to put them in a little jar. I'm sure you can't see what I'm doing, but let me see if I can hold it up. So I'm just going around and doing tiny little dots around the blue circle, like so. I think I got them all. All right, let me show you. So we're going to let those dry a little bit, and then so we're going to just come in and finish these up. I've already been kind of doing them on the side here, and I thought I'd let you know that I'm using this matte varnish. It's the Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby, but you could use any kind of matte varnish for yours. We also use the matte varnish to put down the fabric, but the reason why you want to put the matte varnish over the paint is so that it won't scratch as easily, and it will also waterproof those paint markers if they're not waterproofed. And all I'm doing here is holding it, I'm spinning it around and putting a very light coat of the varnish on there. It also again seals the fabric down. And I'm going to set it down on the side over here on my silicone mat. And then I'm going to show you, these are not dry yet, but you can see, oh wait, yeah, they're dry. So it'll seal the edges of the fabric in, and it seals the paint on, and you have these really fun, unique, one of a kind to match your journal little beads. Aren't they cute? I hope you give this a try. Pull out some of your fabric. And just try it. Just even if you just want to use, if you're not doing like a logo or anything like that on there, and you just want to see if fabric will stick, how to practice and just see if fabric will stick, or do like paint designs or whatever on your beads. And I hope that you give this a try. Thank you for joining me for Trinket Tuesday on this wonderful day. and I will see you guys soon. Bye.
The preppy crafty girl.